Just gone 6:30, you're watching East Midlands today. Tonight, a haemophiliac's horror they called the worst treatment disaster in NHS history. Good evening. Welcome to Tuesday's programme with me, Anne Davis. Well, first tonight, she describes herself as one of the forgotten children caught up in what's referred to as the biggest treatment disaster in NHS history. Katie Walford is the daughter of a man who died after contracting HIV and hepatitis C from infected NHS blood products. Thousands of others were infected through a contaminated drug or a transfusion. Well, now Katie's hoping that a new report will finally recognise wider family members for compensation. Our health correspondent Rob Sissons has more.
My dad, I remember his smile, and he was a rascal and he was cheeky, and I've learned over the years growing up that he was a flirt and he just loved people.
Katie in Derby lost her dad when she was just 10 years old. David Hatton was only 41. He'd contracted HIV and hepatitis C from NHS contaminated blood products. Factor 8 was given to treat his blood disorder, Hemophilia. Katie says there was pressure not to talk about his death.
We were made to believe, and it's quite common that a lot of people were made to believe that they themselves were either a dirty secret or there was a dirty secret in the family, because you just didn't talk about it. It wasn't until I was about 12 years old where I was told the full extent of his health. It's very much always on the surface for me, that experience, having my dad taken away from me far too early.
David was just one of tens of thousands of people infected in the NHS contaminated blood scandal between 1970 and 1991. 4,000 infected people and bereaved partners were given £100,000 interim compensation last year, but it's children and parents who Katie says are among the forgotten ones.
If I was to get some financial compensation from this, I'll be able to start rebuilding the memories in his name, to be able to know that Dad's here for this.
She now hopes a new compensation framework that's expected will finally recognise wider families, the harm, the hurt and ongoing loss.
He would have been an amazing granddad, and that's been taken away from me and my family. It's the recognition and having it documented, validated worldwide, and to make sure that this type of thing does not happen again. And there isn't going to be another 10-year-old out there who's going to have to say goodbye to a dad too soon.
And Rob's here now. I mean, it's such a sad story. He was so young as well, leaving such a young daughter. But, you know, not just one case, there are many.
So many tragedies in all this, and such a long fight for these relatives and victims to be heard. This inquiry's been going on for 4 years, and the numbers involved here are huge. Academics were appointed by the Contaminated Blood Inquiry to try and work out the scale of what went wrong, and they reckon 1,250 people at least contracted HIV from products like Factor 8 and Factor 9. And as well as that, more than 30,000 people contracted hepatitis C, some of them, both those viruses. They reckon out of those 30,000, more than 2,000 people have already died.
They're big numbers, aren't they? I mean, Katie, she's so positive, and I know she's angry, but she doesn't want it to take over her whole life.
Well, she has breaks from campaigning, and she says she speaks on behalf of her anger. She tries to spend times when she isn't, but feels a duty to speak on behalf of people who don't feel able to, either because they're unwell or no longer with us.
I always ask you this, but, you know, have the government said anything?
They've given East Midlands today a statement, and here it is. It's from the Cabinet Office. It says, the infected blood scandal should never have happened. The government has paid interim compensation to those eligible, and it goes on to say, we welcome the publication of the Infected Blood Inquiry's second interim report, that's out tomorrow, Anne, which will be extremely useful, it goes on to say, in responding to the final report from Sir Brian Langstaff, which is out later this year. In the autumn we should be getting that.
2 reports. OK, Rob, thanks very much indeed. Thank you.